Kia ora noe te iwi tēnā koutou. Welcome to another edition of BTV. This is Blues Live, and we're coming from Blues HQ ahead of what being one of the most anticipated games of the 2019 Super Rugby seasons. Because we've got two of the most entertaining teams in the code going head-to-head. That's the Blues taking on the Hurricanes. Friday night at Eden Park, 7:35, and both teams desperate to get the dub so they can push forward and cement that spot in the finals equation. I'm Te Arahi Maipi. Great to have you along for another show. Now that's the schematics for the present and possible future of the Blues, but we're also going to be looking back at its proud history as well with two very players that are in a very rare club. They are a part of the Blues Centurion Club. One's still playing, one's a Blues legend, and we'll get to them in just a second. So James Parsons and Ali Williams will be joining us, and we've also ran a competition for all the people out there on Facebook and on social media. We wanted you guys to get your questions in. We'll be asking a couple of those, and we'll also be naming the winners to the double pass tickets for the game between the Blues and the Hurricanes on Friday night. So let's get into it with the newest edition of the man who's joined the Hundy Club. There's only 6 of them here with the Blues. James Parsons, man, hey, first of all, congratulations on what is an incredible achievement.
Yeah, cheers, mate. It's obviously not something you set out for, but awesome to get to that mark.
Man, let's rewind the clock 99 games ago. So making your debut, what was the goals? And I guess what was the excitement levels for you putting on that Blues jersey for the first time? And did you think that you'd be putting it on at least another 99 times after?
No, not at all. I suppose I took a different route than most. I had to work pretty hard out of school to get a run in Mitre 10 Cup and then slowly make my way into Super Rugby. So I really cherished my debut, and on the day it was sort of just one foot in front of the other and making sure that you listen to the coaches, listen to your senior players, and grow yourself and grow your game, and give yourself your best opportunity to stay on the team.
Let's talk about that progression to get to this point at the beginning of your career. What were the main motivators, and I guess what made you just kept on going to achieve what you have achieved so far?
I suppose for me, like, we come from a rugby family, always had a ball in my hand, and from a young age, just set out and had that dream of wanting to be an All Black, and that was my biggest driving factor. And a lot of people laughed at me throughout my childhood and throughout my teenage years, and even just before when I made the ABs. But I think you've got to put it out there to achieve it, and those are my biggest motivator. And then obviously with the Blues, it's a region I'm proud to represent. Obviously Shore boy, and I love my harbour team as well. But to get to the Blues, and I came through an era when I was young when they were really successful and they left a hell of a legacy. Not just obviously 96, 97, but 03 team was pretty special as well, led by Xavier Rush. So those were big motivations to live up to the standards that those boys had set beforehand. And it was a real privilege to first debut, and then even a bigger privilege and honour to still be here 100 games later.
About that, you came through an era of some of the greatest of all time. Not that just wore a Blues jersey, but wore a black jersey as well. And you served your apprenticeship under one of the greats, Kevin Mealamu. What kind of influence has he had on your career back in those days that you're implementing now and passing down to the young bucks underneath you?
Yeah, I think he just gave me the blueprint around preparation, just how important it is to prepare consistently to get those consistent performances. And he was really disciplined in that, and I just sort of was a sponge and soaked up the importance of that prep to get the performance on the weekend. But also, a lot of those senior boys, you talk to Ali soon, but Woody and Kevy and that were massive for me in terms of I was a pretty serious character. I was determined to achieve a goal, and that's all I cared about. And they opened my eyes to just being a little bit more relaxed and having a little bit of fun outside of footy. It didn't have to be code 24/7. I'm still a bit of a code head, there's no doubt about that, but I've eased up over the years, and I think those boys really instilled that balance, getting that balance right to be able to perform. To have such a long career, you can't be intense all the time, and to be successful, you can't be intense. You've got to be free and just to be able to express yourself on game day. So those are the key lessons that I learned from those lads.
As we're getting ready, Ali was saying that you're 47 years old. You don't look a day over 35, but I want to ask you this question. I hope people are listening to this, because this could be, the magic potion. How is it that in your profession, your job is to hit people as hard as you possibly can? On the other side, your job is also to absorb people bigger and stronger in some cases that are hitting you as hard as they can, yet you're able to do that game in, game out and for over 100 times. What has been the secret to your longevity, especially in a position where you're basically paid to move people around who don't want to be moved?
Yeah, I suppose we'll get it clear. I'm 32. What the key, I suppose, is the biggest thing I've done is I just set goals. You know, not just lofty goals for the year, but weekly goals and weekly targets. And I think if you set those, it gives you something to something to aim at, something to achieve, and then you can tick it off or cross it off if you haven't achieved it. But it keeps you alive and keeps you active each day. Because you've got a purpose, and I think that's the biggest thing is having a purpose. And even though for most of my career that purpose was to wear a black jersey, now it's sort of changed around. The reason I'm still here is I'm desperate to touch some silverware in this jersey, and so the goals are a big factor. And and then the other thing is getting that balance right. I think if you don't get your balance right off the field, if you haven't got your stuff sorted away from rugby, then it can affect your performance in rugby. And I've got an amazing family, amazing support network, and my wife, who's second to none in my opinion, who's just supportive in every single way I could ever hope for. And I'm so grateful that she chose to share her life with me. So it's those sort of things that are massive.
Incredible, man. It sounds like that you've achieved so much on the field, but also everything's looking good off the field as well. But just in regards to that, so 100 games, ticked. You captain your club, that's ticked. You played in the black jersey, that's also been achieved. What is it at this stage of your career now is the main motivator, the next one on that list that you want to strike off?
Yeah, silverware. Yeah, I'm pretty desperate. Like, if I look at the games that I'm most fond of, British and Irish Lions, I'm a bit of a rugby traditionalist, so like I know the importance of that tour and how massive it is to get a scalp there. And we've had some good runs. From my personal experiences, obviously when I captained to the latter part of 2016, 9 out of the 12 we won. Those are really proud moments in the jersey, but nothing can replace lifting that trophy and feeling that enjoyment and satisfaction for a lot of dedication and hard work. And we haven't quite got it right, but we're still in the hunt for finals this year. And then building something that lasts the distance, creating a sort of legacy of our own, and making sure that we had guys like Fitzy and Michael Jones and Xavier Rush and Carlos Spencer, and that all as legacy players that we looked up to. We want to create our own sort of legacy and make sure that we're the players that the kids coming through now look up to and really they have a desire to play for the Blues as well.
Awesome. Now, just before we get to our question from Facebook and also our first winner of the double passes, a big step forward for that, to achieve that dream in 2019 is this Friday night when you guys take on the Hurricanes. Keys to success from your guys' team that you've assembled to take the field that night to make sure that you guys get that win. Yeah,
well, it's no secret that we didn't quite get it right up front last week. So, massive set piece battle, get our scrum line out, providing a platform for the backs to launch off. We know what threats they pose. And then, they've got some key players that you need to shut down, and Nani Lamape and Adi Savia, as well as TJ and Bodie. So if we can do a job on their key men, as well as set a great platform up front and then win those collisions like you spoke about, as our job is to win those collisions time and time again. And if we can do that at the breakdown first and foremost, and then defensively set the tone, we can let our game unfold from there. But if we're not, we've got to have the right attitude and the right determination to win those collisions and win that set piece battle. Awesome, man. It's so exciting. Again, this could be one of the biggest games in 2019 for the Super Rugby season. So we're going to cross now to Facebook. So Megan Tranter, congratulations. We'll get in touch with you over Facebook. You're the first winner of the double pass. Here's Megan's question. If you could give one piece of advice to an up-and-coming player, what would it be? Also, do you have any superstitions you do before every game? First off, any bit of advice is just believe in yourself, I think, is the massive thing, and surround yourself with people that believe in you, because there's going to be plenty of people out there wanting to knock you down. It's just human nature, isn't it? So, yeah, have massive belief in your abilities, and any areas that you might not have that strong belief, go and sort them out. Ask for advice, get a training partner, and work at it, because there's nothing you can't improve at if you set a goal and a target and want to achieve that. And I suppose superstitions, I've got a few. Adidas have like a left and right on each sock.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes when it comes through the wash, it's like left and left. And I have to go up to the manager and I'm like, mate, I need that right. I need that right sock. So outside of that is pretty much, nothing too too strenuous, but those sorts of things, a bit OCD, so it can just play with me a little bit.
Oh, man, hey, look, once again, congratulations on an incredible milestone, and here's hoping that game number 100 is one to remember when you guys take on the Hurricanes this Friday.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Awesome, man. James Parsons, the
Thanks
latest
for having me.
addition to the 100 Club for the Blues. Let's have a look back at some of those highlights when he was wearing the right and left sock, some of the best action over his 100-game career.
They've been looking at the short side. Every time they've had an opportunity, go to the middle, come back to the short side. They think there's a hole there.
Good steal in that line out. Oh,
Drew Mitchell couldn't clean it up, and here's a breakout. Parsons. Oh, yeah. Just a couple of metres short. Whip out. Parsons.
Rocking back when the tackle was Tui Polotu. Tuttle gets it away and all jolted, and the tackle was Carmichael Hunt. Absolutely thumped there, now picked up in an offside position.
James Parsons, great shot.
More was Parsons. Still more. Say more.
Up to the 5 metre line. Now they've got 3. Now they've got none. And the try is given. Parsons was the man.
Calf problem.
And there, going away from his own 22 is James Parsons. What a run from the captain and hooker.
Man who calls the line outs. Tui Polotu, they work it round the front. Parsons is in for the second. And Famuina getting that throw down with a cut for Parsons. Whoa. There for Hall. Parsons wants it. Lovely ball flipped on to Luatua. And they got there in the end. Stephen Luatua the try. They go to Patrick Tui Polotu. Got it nicely set here. Parsons driving it in the boot. And Kane comes in the side. Parsons breaks away, gets it to Polo. And he's over.
Gets it out. Another nearly nice shot from James Parsons.
Forward, Prunier, Mapu, smash backwards. Contest, and the ball's gone, won by the Blues.
Latest addition to that centenary club in Blues colours, it's James Parsons with some of his highlights, and he will be squaring up against the Hurricanes this Friday night, 7:30 at Eden Park. Now we're going to have one of the Blues legends. He's already a member of that club, and there's only 6 of them in there. Ali Williams, brother, it is lovely to see you, man, and congratulations on everything going with Sky. You guys are doing a great job on the broadcasting side.
We're chipping away. Eh? There's a few guys with a few opinions, and we're having fun. But look, it's good to be here and good to be back at the sort of older haunch. I mean, I never got the ability to train in such a fine establishment, but you know, just seeing the guys around and still seeing some of the familiar faces, and also the success that they're having in terms of the strides forwards. You know, the results are coming, but you know, you can just see individuals going up and getting better, and you know, and then you come back and you sit and you look and you're celebrating a little jipper that first came in. You're thinking, how the heck is this guy going to last that time? But 100 games later, he's still going strong. He's still got the passion for the Blues jersey, and you know, that is what Blues rugby is about. Is a man like that. He's a cornerstone of it, emotionally and physically, and how every week he just puts his body on the line for the better of not himself, but for the Blue jersey. So a special human.
Mate, you've done it 100 plus times too, 102 for the Blues. Can you recall your 100th game, and I guess even reflecting on a career where you've done everything? You know, what's your memories of that particular milestone in your career?
Yeah, look, it was quite special for me. Generally, because I'm a Blues man through and through. I had some adversity around a bit of the time, and I went down and played for the Crusaders, and I loved my time down there. But the draw to come back in terms of, you know, it's your region, it's your people, and it's the people that you represent and the jersey that you wanted to be in when you're a young kid. And my path was very different. I didn't want to play rugby. I wanted to play soccer. But you know, you go back and you indulge back into the history of the Blues and some of the people that have been here. It is a special club, and it's very unique in its own way in New Zealand. The way that we train, the way that we play, the makeup of our team culturally, and things like that. So for me, yeah, very special to be in that club. And I think, like anything, it's not the club you're in, it's the club, it's the people in the club, and that's what gives you the satisfaction. The other guys in it, John Arthur, Tony Woodcock, Kevin Mialamu, Jerome, myself, and now Jipper. It's special to share it with people like that, because you know what they did, and you can help or be part of that. So yeah, it's special there.
I was going to ask, so being part of that club, do you get the red carpet rolled out, and is it a big parade when you come walking in?
No, I've actually got my girls here. 2 girls, I picked them up, and it all locked up, and the gate was shut. I sort of didn't have the sensor or the buzzer, so I've got to park 25 metres down the other way and jumped over the fence, and then I had to smash down the glass here because the door just didn't open up for me. So
it's nice to see that you're welcome back, mate. Anytime.
I think it's one of those things when you're in a rugby club in an environment like this, you take it for granted and you don't appreciate what you have or how it's all rolled out for you. Then when you jump out of it, it's real world, and the struggles are real. The day-to-day living and things like that are really tough, and that's why I say when people are playing rugby and they ask me what should I do, I said, mate, live every day to the fullest and respect what you're in and have fun. And when I remember seeing Jipper when he came in, and he was just so serious. I said, mate, before you know it, it'll be finished, and you won't be having that fun or that ability to have that fun. So enjoy every day. Trainings are hard, but get enjoyment from the hardest things. And so for me, that's some of the things I miss from the game, is the fun and the excitement that we had during the week, and obviously the challenges. But real world's not too bad too, mate.
It's all good, mate. I've seen those girls of yours, mate. There's a lot of joy there. I want to ask you one more question around that exclusive club, just the 6 of you. All forwards, all played a real physical style of football. How was it? We talked with James about his secret to the longevity of being able to clock up that many miles. What was it for you? And again, a KPI of a job that is basically trying to outmuscle anybody that comes anywhere near you.
I mean, I was lucky in terms of the fact that I just hung around. I wasn't, this carcass wasn't the most endurable of things. I broke down several times, lots of times, but my span was, I think, 15 years. So that was the reason I'm in the club. But it's the people around you. Big to me is your mental attitude, get the excitement, you can get through anything. And then 2 is the people around you, the physio staff and the people like that do all the work behind the scenes, that you can sort of just focus and play the game you love. But I tell you what, if you put your mind or you direct your mind somewhere, your body can follow. And that's what a lot of people that have had longevity in anything have got, a strong mind. So that's what I put it down to.
Also, and you see that common thread amongst the other 5 members of that club?
Yeah, well, you just look at them all. Yeah. They're all pretty determined individuals, steely sort of guys, and they went through their ups and downs. But at the end of the day, they had one drive, which was 1 to represent the Blues, but 2 to better themselves as humans. And I think that's something that we probably don't try. We don't try to better ourselves and get better as a human. You get better as a human, you get better as a rugby player, you get better as a father, you get better as a husband, you get better as all those sorts of things. And if you can do that, then I think you're in good stead. And it takes hard decisions. It takes sacrifice. It takes a lot of hard decisions, and it takes the risk of failure. And failure is not a bad thing. But all those guys failed. Don't get me wrong. In 100 games, they all failed, but they just kept coming back.
Awesome advice, man. That's incredible. So I just want to turn our attention before we go to our last one of the double pass for the game between the Blues and the Hurricanes. It's focusing the attention on that now. We've retracked about your career and also James, but now we're talking about the future and the present. And it's a big game, man. It's a massive game. How is it that at the end of 80 minutes, it ends up in the favour of the Blues on Friday?
Well, I'm not a rocket scientist, but if it ends up in the favour, it's because they scored more points than them. And they can do that. I think, we look at it, the Hurricanes are vulnerable up front, and I think the Blues, you need a kick in the arse to realise that they didn't play that well on the weekend. Yep. And Jipper, he mentioned that, so I'd say that's where they're going to come really strong. One of the things is you can really worry about the opposition and the Hurricanes and the threats that they've got, and Bowden Barrett and the likes. But it doesn't matter. If they don't have the ball, they can't do anything. If tactically you've beaten them and you've done your homework, and mentally you've got the steel, it doesn't matter what anyone else brings, it's what you bring. So it's a perfect example for the Blues to get back to where they were 3 or 4 weeks ago, and that mental steel. The form was really good, and to me it's get back to that steel, the mental steel that they had. Don't worry about the performance, don't worry about the flash Harry stuff, don't worry about that rubbish where Blues, that stuff just comes naturally. But get back to the mental steel that we've seen evolve with this group of young men over the last sort of year and a half, 2 years, through different provinces and different individuals. Get back to that on Friday night. Get a massive Blues crowd. Yep. I mean, there's not a better thing when I remember some of my times back playing the Hurricanes and we had a full Eden Park. That was 40,000 people. It's one of the best grounds in the world. So a lot of support by the faithful, and I was going to say put my house on it, but I mean, my house's foundations aren't that strong at the moment. So, she's a pretty sure bet at the TAB. I'd say Staffy's giving us probably $5 to win, so I'd take that.
Yeah, come on, Unks. Give us some good numbers. But look, I can see your new bosses. They're queuing up at the door. They're telling Dad to hurry up. So just before we go, I want to ask you.
They're actually hungry.
They're hungry.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's dinner time, and I haven't fed them, so they're actually quite hungry. But hey, that's life, isn't it? That's the biggest joy you get is watching the kids evolve and watching them learn. And I think that's when, from a senior rugby player, you get to that point where you look at people like Jipper and you see how they've evolved and you see what they're doing now. And to me, that's the future of getting older, and the beauty of getting older is watching people and younger people develop and become better humans.
That's so cool.
A question. Well, we've got a question for me, have we?
Dave Paseka. Congratulations, Dave. You've got 2 tickets to go to the game on Friday night. Now, his question is, out of the current Blues, who would be the most likeliest new Toffee Pops guy? And who rates themselves most likely?
Oh, that's a hard question
There's
for
a
me
few
to ask,
dilemmas in
because
there.
yeah, but I don't know them, you know what I mean? There's no longer am I in the shower with them really comparing size and general body mass and physical appearance. So I can't really comment on the current squad in terms of who that would be. But
what about back
I tell you what, here's my dream though.
Okay.
My dream Toffee Pops kid of the new generation is that one of Clifford, the big red dog. Tom Robinson, and I'm a huge fan of his. I think he's just a champion as a human and as a rugby player. So you could imagine the big red locks just flowing in. I'd get him to do a shower scene, come out dry with the robe, and then have his toffee pop just bang. And then
you put some thought into this.
Oh, well, you know what it is. I mean, I was pretty good mates with old Carlos, so he used to tell me all about it and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, to me, it's Clifford, the big red dog. I think he should be the next toffee pop man.
Right. Sounds like a good, Griffins, out there. You got Ali's pick there.
But I want 20% of commission.
Of course, it comes with.
No longer am I a professional rugby player, living the dream, having midday siestas and the like. So 20% of commission on that. Griffins, that'd be fantastic.
First step into agent life.
Oh, God, I couldn't be an agent, mate. I can't sell myself, so I'm not going to sell anyone else.
Ali, man, it is so good to see you back on screens. It might not be on the football field, but you're talking a lot of code and you're doing a great job. So congratulations on everything, and Matt, looking forward to seeing you back on the box on the weekend.
Go the Blues.
Blues. Ali Williams is, again, one of the members of the Centenary Club for the Blues. And again, big, massive game. Hurricanes v Blues, 7:35 this Friday night at Eden Park. And the beauty of it is $26 for adults. That's the ticket starting prices, and $9 for kids. Even I could afford that. So it's just a pity that I got 100 kids, so it might cost me a little bit. But great prices. And again, if you want to follow the Blues they're on all the social media outlets. Thank you again for joining us on BTV. We love having you, and we love getting the feedback on Facebook. And we will see you again Friday night. Blues v Hurricanes, Eden Park. See you then.